Hi, welcome. Enjoy the content, subscribe, and turn on notifications.
Tyler always believed that building a solid life required patience, dedication, and mutual trust. At 29, he worked as a systems analyst at a fintech company, spending hours immersed in code and spreadsheets, but he never failed to set aside time for Brooke. She, at 28, was a marketing manager at an advertising agency, the kind of person always rushing between client meetings, presentations, and corporate events. They'd met on a dating app 4 years ago, got married after 2 years of dating, and their routine seemed to fit together perfectly. He worked from home 3 days a week, she had flexible hours, and their evenings belonged to them, filled with silly TV shows on the couch, improvised dinners, and plans for the future. Tyler thought he'd found his person. Brooke laughed too loudly at his jokes, praised his patience, and told him he was different from all the others. He believed it. He believed in her. But something started to shift in March. Brooke began coming home later, always with explanations that sounded just a little too reasonable. Client meeting, happy hour with the team, extra class at the gym. Tyler wasn't the controlling type. He trusted her. Trust was the foundation of everything, right? Yet one night, on an ordinary Tuesday, she walked through the door at 9:30 with her hair soaking wet, dripping onto the hardwood floor he'd just cleaned. She was wearing a gray top he'd never seen before. Had a tough workout today, Brooke explained, tossing her bag onto the couch. I sweated so much I had to wash my hair right there. Tyler frowned. She always showered at home, she said she hated the gym showers. And her hair never looked like that after a workout. He didn't say anything then, just nodded and went back to his laptop. But something inside him sparked a small, nagging alert, like a sliver of glass stuck under his skin. In the days that followed, Tyler started paying attention to the details. Brooke had always been stylish, meticulous about her clothes. But now she'd leave in the morning wearing one outfit and come home at night in a completely different one. On a Thursday, she'd left for work in dark jeans and a white blouse. She returned in black leggings and a pink t-shirt. Spilled coffee on myself at lunch, had to buy new clothes, she said, avoiding his eyes. Tyler checked their shared credit card statement. No clothing purchased that day. His stomach tightened, but he still tried to rationalize it. Maybe she'd paid cash. Maybe it was an old outfit he didn't remember. Maybe he was just becoming paranoid. Then came the scent. Brooke always wore the same floral fragrance, one Tyler knew by heart. But one Friday night, when she leaned in to kiss him as she walked in, he caught something different. A masculine, woody cologne mixed into her hair. Tyler froze. New shampoo? He asked, forcing a casual tone. Brooke blinked a beat too fast. Yeah, switched brands. Don't you like it? He said he did. He lied. That night, while she slept, Tyler stayed awake until 3 in the morning, staring at the ceiling. The pieces didn't fit. Wet hair with no rain. Changed clothes with no explanation. A man's cologne in her hair. Later and later arrivals. He wanted to be wrong. God, how he wanted to be wrong. The following Monday, Tyler made a decision. He wasn't going to confront Brooke without proof. He wouldn't destroy their marriage based on suspicion alone. But he also wouldn't pretend everything was fine. He Googled a private investigator and found a discreet agency just 15 minutes from home. The office was in a dull commercial building with worn carpet and beige walls. The detective, a man in his 50s named Ron, listened with a neutral expression. 2 weeks, Ron said, sliding a contract across the desk. I'll follow her, document everything, and give you a complete report, photos, videos, times, locations. If something's going on, you'll know. The price made Tyler swallow hard. $3,500, almost his entire quarterly bonus. But he needed to know the truth. Tyler signed the contract with a trembling hand and paid half up front. Then he waited. The next 2 weeks were the worst of Tyler's life. He kept up appearances, went to work, came home, ate dinner with Brooke, watched TV beside her. But inside, he was eating himself alive. Every time she picked up her phone and smiled at the screen, he felt a sharp pang in his chest. Every time she said, "going to the gym," he pictured where she might really be. And the worst part was having to act. Pretending everything was fine. Pretending he trusted her. Pretending he wasn't dying inside, waiting for Ron's report. On the 14th day, Ron called. "I've got it all," he said. "You can come get it." Tyler left work early and drove to the office with his heart pounding so hard he thought it might burst out of his chest. Ron handed him a flash drive and a folder of printed photos. "It won't be easy to look at," the detective warned. Tyler opened the folder right there. The first photo showed Brooke entering a cheap motel off the highway. The second showed her leaving 2 hours later, hand in hand with a man. Tyler recognized the face. Colin, the personal trainer from her gym. That ridiculous guy who posted shirtless photos on Instagram and wore his cap backward. Tyler had always thought he was a joke, but Brooke insisted he was super professional. Apparently, his professionalism included more than just spotting squats. Tyler spent the rest of that afternoon watching the videos on the flash drive. Ron had documented everything. Brooke and Colin met 3 times a week, always at the same rundown motel. They arrived in separate cars, stayed for 2 hours, and left without looking back. In some clips, you could see them laughing and kissing in the parking lot before going inside. Tyler watched it all twice. And then he started planning. He wasn't going to confront Brooke by yelling, crying, or begging for explanations. He wasn't going to give her the satisfaction of seeing him shattered. Tyler would handle this his way, methodical, precise, devastating. He called Ron and made a specific request. "I want you to edit everything into a video, about 12 minutes long, chronological, with timestamps. And add a soundtrack, something ironic." Ron chuckled on the other end of the line. "You're cold, man. I like it." 3 days later, Tyler had the finished video. He chose a Thursday for the confrontation. He spent the day preparing like it was a corporate presentation, set up the projector in the living room, aimed at the blank wall, pulled the couch into the perfect viewing position, and even went to the store to buy popcorn, soda, and chocolate. He arranged everything neatly on the coffee table. When Brooke walked in at 8:30 that night, hair wet as usual and ready with another excuse about her intense workout, Tyler was sitting on the couch, remote in hand. He smiled at her, calm, almost gentle. "Hey, babe," he said. "I had an idea. Want to watch a movie together? It's been a while." Brooke looked surprised but smiled back. "Sure. Let me just take a quick shower." Tyler shook his head. "No need. Come sit here. I already picked the movie. I think you'll love it." There was something in his tone that made Brooke hesitate. She glanced at the projector, the popcorn, his face. "Is everything okay?" she asked slowly. Tyler shrugged. "Everything's perfect. Sit down." Brooke sat. Tyler pressed play. The screen lit up with a date and timestamp in the corner. Then it began. The first scene showed Brooke leaving the house 2 weeks earlier, getting into her car, driving to the gym. So far, so normal. But then the camera cut to her leaving the gym half an hour later, getting back in her car, and driving down the highway, to the motel. Tyler heard Brooke gasp beside him. She turned to face him, eyes wide. "Tyler, what is this?" He didn't answer. Just pointed to the screen. "Keep watching." The video went on. Brooke entering the motel room. Colin arriving 10 minutes later. The two of them leaving 2 hours afterward, laughing, kissing near their cars. The camera had captured everything in high definition, every detail, every moment. Tyler had chosen a song for the soundtrack that he knew Brooke loved, a romantic ballad they'd danced to at their wedding. The irony was brutal. Brooke tried to get up from the couch, but Tyler gripped her arm firmly, not hard, but with resolve. "You're going to watch it all the way through," he said, voice low and steady. I watched it. Now it's your turn. Scene after scene played out. Different days, same motel, same guy. The video showed Brooke coming home with wet hair, walking through the front door with that innocent look, and then cut back to the motel. Proof after proof. Tyler had asked Ron to include timestamps for each scene, comparing the times Brooke claimed to be at the gym with the times she was actually with Colin. The discrepancy was obvious. She'd lied every single time. By the 4-minute mark, Brooke was crying. "Tyler, I can explain, please, turn it off." He didn't. At 7 minutes, she reached for the remote. Tyler held it above his head, out of her reach. "It's not over yet." Then came the twist. Over the past 2 days, Tyler had done something extra. He'd tracked Colin down on social media, found his wife Jennifer, a nurse who constantly posted pictures of their 2 young kids, and reached out to her. He'd sent her some of the evidence Ron had gathered. Jennifer was devastated but agreed to Tyler's plan. She wanted justice too. So at the 8-minute mark, the screen split in half. On one side, the motel footage of Brooke and Colin kept playing. On the other, a live video call appeared. Jennifer sat in her living room, eyes red from crying, gripping her phone with trembling hands. Brooke looked at the screen and instantly understood what was happening. "Hi, Brooke," Jennifer said, her voice sharp. "I guess we've got a lot in common now." Tyler paused the video. The silence in the room was deafening. Brooke sat frozen, glancing between Jennifer on the screen, Tyler, and back to the screen. Tears streamed down her face, smudging her makeup. "Tyler, I'm so sorry. It was a mistake. I never wanted you to find out like this." He let out a short, humorless laugh. "You didn't want me to find out at all," he corrected. "You were going to keep lying, coming home with wet hair, making up excuses. How many times, Brooke? How many times did you look me in the eye and lie?" She reached for his arm. Tyler pulled away. "Don't touch me." Jennifer was still on the video call, listening to everything. Tyler looked at the screen. "Thanks for doing this," he told her. Jennifer nodded. "Colin'll be home in half an hour. I'm going to show him this video too. Then I'll show it to his parents. And his boss at the gym. Everyone's going to know who he really is." Tyler smiled for the first time in weeks. Perfect. Brooke was sobbing now, her whole body shaking. "Please, Tyler. We can talk about this. I made a huge mistake, I know, but we can try to fix it. Therapy, anything. Please." Tyler turned off the projector. The room sank into dimness, lit only by the faint glow from the kitchen. He stood, picked up the backpack he'd prepared earlier, and dropped it in Brooke's lap. "Your things. I want you out of here tonight. I don't care where you go. Might as well go to the motel, you seem to like it so much." Brooke opened her mouth to protest, but Tyler cut her off. "I've already spoken to a lawyer. Divorce papers will be filed tomorrow. And before you think about making up some story or trying to hurt me somehow, know this, I've given copies of everything to my lawyer. All the videos, all the photos, all the records. If you try anything, that evidence goes straight to the judge. My lawyer guaranteed that with this material, you won't be able to contest a thing." The cold finality of his words made Brooke shrink back. She'd never seen Tyler like this, cold, calculating, relentless. He'd always been the gentle, patient guy who avoided conflict. But that Tyler was gone. In his place stood a man who'd been betrayed, humiliated, and now demanded respect. Tyler continued, voice firm, and just to be clear, this house is in my name. My lawyer confirmed I have every right to ask you to leave. You can pick up the rest of your stuff during the week, with a scheduled time. Brooke took the backpack with trembling hands, stood from the couch, and walked toward the door. Before leaving, she turned one last time. I loved you, Tyler. I still do. He looked at her with an empty expression. No. You don't know what love is. Now get out of my house. The door closed. Tyler stood alone in the dark living room. He waited until he heard her car start and drive away before finally letting his body relax. His legs gave out. He sank to the floor, leaned back against the couch, and finally let the pain come. He cried, not from sadness over losing Brooke, but from losing the illusion. The illusion that he'd found someone loyal, someone who valued him. It had all been a lie. But at least now he knew the truth. In the weeks that followed, Tyler focused on rebuilding. The divorce moved quickly. Brooke didn't contest anything, she knew she had no defense. Colin was fired from the gym after Jennifer sent the evidence to management. Company policy strictly forbade relationships with clients, and Colin had violated it spectacularly. Jennifer filed for divorce too and was granted full custody of their kids. Colin was left with no wife, no lover, and no job. Tyler felt no pity. As for Brooke, he heard through mutual friends that she'd moved to another city, trying to start over away from the shame. Her parents had cut off contact after learning about the affair. Her friends from the agency had distanced themselves. Her life had completely fallen apart. Tyler knew he was supposed to feel some satisfaction from that, but honestly, he felt nothing, just relief at no longer being trapped in that lie. 6 months after the confrontation, Tyler was at a coffee shop near work when he spotted Brooke across the street. She looked smaller, faded. Her hair was shorter, lacking its former shine. She was alone, carrying grocery bags, walking with her head down. For a second, their eyes met. Brooke stopped, as if she wanted to cross the street and speak to him. But Tyler simply looked away, grabbed his coffee, and left through the back door. He had nothing left to say to her. That chapter was closed. That night, Tyler returned home to a quiet apartment. But it was a different kind of quiet now, not empty, but peaceful. He'd learned that trust was precious, something that couldn't be restored once broken. And sometimes, the best revenge wasn't destroying the other person, it was simply moving forward and building something better. Tyler didn't know what the future held. But he knew that this time, he wouldn't share his life with someone who didn't deserve it. He'd learned his lesson. And he'd never forget it. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you won't miss any updates. See you next time.